Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. Crazy. The female emperor's disciple wants to live with me. Chapter 21. By what? Chang Zan and Shi Rishan both looked full of anticipation. My master is an expert outside the world. That name for the kitten must be very nice. The fur is as white as snow, so call me Bai Jia. For convenience, I'll call you Xiao Bai. Lu Changge said. Master, it sounds good, the name is good. Chang Zan and Shi Rishan both nodded. As everyone knows, this name has far-reaching significance for Lu Changge. Because in the previous life, this name was deeply rooted in Lu Changge's mind. It can be said that this name has accompanied Lu Changge for a long time. Opened Lu Changge's ignorance. Bring Lu Changge happiness that others can't experience. Stop talking about flattery. Go to rest, get up tomorrow morning and cultivate well. Lu Changge rolled his eyes and said to his two apprentices. Yes, master. Both apprentices nodded respectfully. Then go back to rest. And Lu Changge went to sleep with Xiao Bai in his arms. The night passed quickly. Early the next morning, Chang Zan and Shi Rishan both entered the cultivation state. However, when Chang Zan was cultivating, a communication talisman on Chang Zan's body shattered. Then a message appeared in Chang Zan's mind. Shuaner, my father is seriously ill, please come to the family quickly. Father is seriously ill. After seeing the news, Chang Zan couldn't help feeling bad. Stop cultivation immediately. No, I'm going down the mountain, I'm going to visit my father. Chang Zan couldn't help thinking. Her father and mother are the best people in Chang Zan's heart, apart from her master. She is the big miss of the Chang family. When it was detected that she was born without spiritual roots, the family ran against her. Looked down on her. Said she was trash. It simply embarrassed the Chang family. But the father is not the same as the mother. I didn't despise her because she couldn't cultivate. Instead, he loved her even more. This allowed Chang Zan to have a perfect childhood. After Chang Zan made this decision, she quickly came to the courtyard where Lu Changge was. At the moment Lu Changge is lying on a reclining chair made of bamboo in the courtyard. Take it easy, holding Xiao Bai in his arms. Lu Changge's days are so boring and capricious. But that's not to blame for Lu Changge. Because Lu Changge's system is like this, only when his apprentice becomes stronger can he become stronger. And all this is in the eyes of the two apprentices. This is the life of an immortal. Chang Zan and Shi Rishan felt that their master was already an immortal. So there is no need for cultivation at all. Master. Chang Zan came to Lu Changge and saluted. There was a cloud of sadness hanging over that beautiful face. Go down the mountain. Lu Changge said lightly. Ah, master, do you already know? Chang Zan was shocked when she heard what her master said. Only she knew the news of her father's serious illness. But I didn't expect that the master even knew it. His master really deserves to be an expert in the world. Everything is under the master's control. Fortunately, Lu Changge didn't know what Chang Zan was thinking about at the moment, otherwise Lu Changge would have vomited blood. What does he know? Hearing Chang Zan's tone, he knew that Chang Zan was in a bad mood. As long as you're not an idiot, you can guess. It must be something at home or something. After all, Chang Zan doesn't have a boyfriend yet. I know, aren't you going home? Lu Changge rolled his eyes and asked. Then he sat up from the wicker chair. Master, I really want to go home. Chang Zan nodded. Why do you have such an ugly face? Calm down, you'll be fine at home, go back early. Lu Changge said. Lu Changge didn't know Chang Zan's family very well. But Chang Zan said that she came from a good family. Therefore, Lu Changge felt that such a family would be fine. Hearing what Lu Changge said, Chang Zan couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. His master knows everything. Since you say let yourself rest assured. It's definitely not going to happen. However, the specific father's illness is serious or not, and you need to go home to see it to know. Master, I'm going. Chang Zan saluted. Go. Lu Changge nodded. But soon, Lu Changge stopped Chang Zan who was about to leave. Teacher, wait a minute. Is there any other order from master? Chang Zan turned around and came to Lu Changge again. Teacher, it's been a while since you came to the Xiaoyao sect. I haven't given you any present yet. I'll give you a present before you go down the mountain today. Take this sword. Lu Changge said he took out the sacred sword given by the system. Master, this. Chang Zan was stunned after seeing the sword in front of her that exuded a cold and lustrous luster. Although Chang Zan could not be sure at this moment what grade the sword in front of him was. But Chang Zan knew with her mind that if Shizan took out a treasure casually, it would be invaluable. What are you doing standing still? Why are you being polite to the teacher? And you don't have to have any psychological pressure, this is just a holy artifact level sword. Lu Changge didn't know whether to laugh or cry. What? A holy artifact level sword? Chang Zan's delicate body couldn't help trembling. Sacred artifact level swords, even those in sacred land, are rare. However, when a priceless sacred sword was spoken by the master, it was so light. Master, master, what kind of monster are you? That disciple is welcome, thank you, master. Chang Zan took the sword over with trembling hands with an excited heart. Wipe off the saliva and go down the mountain. Lu Changge said a little bit didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It's just a holy weapon. Don't be so excited, really. Yes, master. Chang Zan wiped the lazy at the corner of her mouth. After bowing to Lu Changge for a few times, we went down the mountain. Watching Chang Zan leave, Lu Changge couldn't help but didn't know whether to laugh or cry and said, "It's just a holy weapon, it's just a holy weapon, I've never seen the world." After Lu Changge finished speaking, he continued to live his own salted fish life. And Chang Zan is here. After going down the mountain, Chang Zan's speed was extremely fast. He rushed towards his family quickly. Chang Zan is very worried now. Father, I'll be back soon, don't you have any trouble? Chang Zan prayed secretly in her heart. After half a day, Chang Zan came to the gate of his family. But what made Chang Zan slightly relaxed was that it seemed that her family was fine. There's no such thing as an overly depressing atmosphere. Father, mother, Chang Zan shouted in a loud voice as soon as he entered the gate. Miss is back. Hearing this voice, some members of the Cheng family couldn't help but say happily. Although the previous Chang Zan could not cultivate. But because Chang Zan is very lively, he is also very good to the servants. Therefore, Chang Zan is still respected by many people in the family. Shuaner. At the same time, two figures appeared in front of Chang Zan. When Chang Zan saw the two figures in front of him, Chang Zan couldn't help showing a touch of surprise. Then ran over. Father, mother, Chang Zan shouted and embraced her mother's arms. Shuaner, you wild girl, you are back. Chang Zan's mother said excitedly. He also held Chang Zan tightly in his arms. On the other hand, Chang Zan's father, Cheng Lu, showed a gratified look on the side. It would be great if life had been like this, even if Shuaner couldn't cultivate, I could protect her for the rest of her life, but it's a pity, alas. Cheng Lu's face changed when he thought of what was going to happen to the Cheng family. It was embarrassing again. After hugging her mother for a while, Chang Zan broke free from her mother's arms. Then he looked at his own father. His father looked rosy and shiny. In good spirits. Is there any disease? It's just that the only father is a little different than usual, his father seems to have a layer of sadness. Dad, you lied to Shuaner, didn't you say that you were sick? It looks fine now, everything is under the control of the master, and the master does not deceive me. After seeing that her father was fine, Chang Zan said that the dangling heart was completely relaxed. The reverence for his master in his heart has risen to a higher level. Shuaner, what did you say? Master. Hearing Chang Zan's words, Cheng Lu and his wife looked at each other with a look of disbelief in their eyes. My daughter was born without spiritual roots, what kind of master did she worship? Mother, father, Shuaner has worshipped a peerless master as a teacher, and now she can cultivate. Chang Zan proudly showed off. Apprenticeship, you can cultivate. Shuaner, aren't you being deceived? My innocent daughter. After hearing her daughter's words, Chang Zan's mother came directly to her daughter. Started to measure up. Chang Zan's mother knew that her daughter was pure and kind by nature. It is easy to be deceived by others. Even at this moment, Chang Zan's mother had a strong feeling that her daughter might have been deceived. The thought of her daughter being deceived by bad guys made Chang Zan's mother feel uncomfortable. Otherwise, if my daughter is fine, how can I say she has cultivated? Father, mother, my daughter didn't lie to you, why are you staring at me like this? I can really cultivate, Chang Zan said helplessly when her parents looked up and down. Zaner, tell your mother, have you been deceived? How did he deceive you? Daughter, tell your mother the truth. Did he trick you into sleeping with you, my poor daughter? Chang Zan's mother, I almost couldn't help crying. Daughter, tell your father that after this period of time is over, I will cut him with 1,000 cuts and dare to lie to my daughter. Humph. Chang Lu also had a killing intent on his body. Chang Zan, what happened? What kind of cheating? What goes to bed? I didn't lie. She can really cultivate. Also, his master is an expert from outside the world. His master is a very upright gentleman. At the beginning, although there were only 2 of them in the entire Xiaoyao sect. But the master is a real gentleman. She didn't even touch her hand. His master's eyes were as clear as water. When he looked at her, there was no hint of lewdness. Instead, she wanted to put her master to sleep. Where did the father and mother go? But at this moment, Cheng Lu and his wife agreed that their daughter must have been deceived. It seems to be deceived. Daughter will cultivate. Cheated. If a daughter who was born without spiritual roots could cultivate, then the husband and wife would go to the street for a live broadcast of co-ed sports. My daughter must have been deceived by the so-called master bastard. And also brainwashed. Shuaner, let my mother try. You don't have a fever, right? Chang Zan's mother put her hand on Chang Zan's forehead and said. Mother. Chang Zan was really about to cry. What is this? No one would believe me if I told the truth. It's really hard for me. Mother, my daughter is fine, and Daddy, since you are not sick, what's the matter with you calling me back? But it was agreed in advance that if you asked me to marry, I would not agree to be killed. Chang Zan pouted. If it was before, Chang Zan might be tempted by other men. But since meeting the master, Chang Zan felt that all men in this world were ugly. Living is a waste of air. Shuaner, Daddy didn't find a husband for you. The reason why he called you back is because our Cheng family is going to be in great trouble. Let's see, Daddy will make a long story short, that is, the ancestor once had a powerful enemy. 100 years ago, there was a sinister rogue cultivator, called the ancestor of the blood rogue, and his cultivation technique was extremely evil, suck the blood of others. At that time, the ancestor was going to kill him, but then he escaped. The devil was seriously injured at that time, and he never showed up after escaping. The ancestor thought he was dead, but it happened the day before yesterday. He suddenly made a comeback, and cultivation base is even more terrifying than the ancestor. No one knows how terrifying he is, even the ancestor is not sure. That's why I called you back in the hope that you could leave the family and avoid the limelight. Shuaner, you and your mother should leave here first. Chang Lu said. It turned out to be like this. Chang Zan finally understood why her father was so anxious to call her back. It turned out that the family was in big trouble. Ha ha. The Chang family can't leave today, all of you have to die. At this moment, a gloomy laughter suddenly spread over the entire Chang family mansion. Hearing this voice, everyone in the Chang family fell into despair. He's here. Chang Lu also became extremely embarrassed. Chang Lu really never dreamed that this big devil would come so quickly. When everyone in the Chang family was desperate. At this moment, a figure appeared in the sky above the Chang family mansion. The figure was wearing a blood-red robe. Blood-red magic lingered all over his body. The terrifying coercion made the entire void tremble. It's the blood-robed ancestor. After seeing this figure, Cheng Lu immediately recognized it. Dad, his cultivation base doesn't seem to be high. Chang Zan couldn't help muttering after feeling the cultivation base of the blood-robed ancestor in the void. My grandmother, isn't his cultivation base still high? This blood-robed ancestor is now the cultivation base of nascent soul realm, and our ancestor has not yet broken through nascent soul. Cheng Lu said with an embarrassed expression. Cheng Lu was very clear in his heart. First stage realm, first stage days. If the ancestor cultivation base is similar to the opponent, then the ancestor does not necessarily lose. But now, the ancestor is afraid that. Just after Cheng Lu's words were finished, the voice of the blood-robed ancestor continued to sound without the slightest emotion. Hey, everyone in the Cheng family, die for me. With the words of the blood-robed ancestors fell. The blood-robed ancestor took the shot directly. With the words of the blood-robed ancestors fell. The terrifying aura of the blood-robed ancestor nascent soul realm burst out like an ocean. Then the blood-red aura formed a huge bloody handprint in the void. This bloody handprint released a monstrous aura. Unmatched coercion. Feeling the power of this huge palm print in the void, everyone in the Cheng family was extremely desperate. Now the ancestors can't do it for breakthrough nascent soul realm closed door training. All the people in the Cheng family added up, I am afraid they are not enough to be beaten by the blood-robed ancestor. Ah, me too, I haven't even talked about a relationship until now. I haven't even held a girl's hand. Mom, save me, I still want to live. Cousin, let me touch your butt, even if I die, I will die without regrets. Shameless, get out. Facing this huge bloody handprint in the void, some of the younger generation in the Cheng family began to cry. Shut up, a bunch of spineless dog things, how can my Cheng family have such timid dog things as you? Cheng Lu scolded. Cheng Lu was also speechless. Cry when you cry. One by one shouted such shameless words. I want to go to heaven. What a shame. Cheng Zan was also depressed. Is this the own family? How did these weak and incompetent dogs grow up? Looking at the huge bloody handprint in the void, Cheng Zan pressed one hand on the hilt of the sword. I was thinking about whether or not to start. Boom. But just at the last minute, when Cheng Zan was about to take action, the entire Cheng family was in the ancestral land. A roar came out. A terrible coercion spread out. Immediately afterwards, a figure leapt from the ancestral land into the sky. Then it appeared over the Cheng family mansion. Came to the opposite of the blood-robed ancestor. Old ancestor is out. Ah, we are saved. When they saw the figure with long hair in the void, everyone in the Cheng family couldn't help cheering. If you don't pass the road, you can't cheer. Because the ancestor's cultivation base seems to still reflect the peak of realm 9th stage. It didn't pierce the membrane that made it to the nascent soul realm. This means that next, perhaps the ancestor is not the opponent of the blood-robed ancestor. Ancestor of the blood robe, you want to destroy my Cheng family, have you asked me? The ancestor of the Cheng family said solemnly. The tone was extremely cold. Like thunder. Cheng Jun, you really disappoint me. After so many years, you are still stuck in reflecting on the realm 9th stage. After sensing the cultivation base of the Cheng family ancestor in front of him, the blood-robed ancestor couldn't help sneering. So what? Killing you is enough. The ancestor of the Cheng family said domineeringly. With the words of the ancestors of the Cheng family fell. The ancestor of the Cheng family reflected the cultivation base of realm's peak, and it was released directly. Then he punched the blood-robed ancestor with a punch. Moment. In the void, one after another terrifying fist light, with monstrous killing intent, came to the blood-robed ancestor. The blood-robed ancestor snorted coldly. A thought moves. A bloody handprint condensed in the void. It is suppressed. Boom. Moment. This bloody handprint and the fist light are a fierce collision. A deafening roar came out. Aftermath rolls. Terrible aftermath tore through the void. Some aftermath spread to the Cheng family mansion. Some buildings of the Cheng family mansion. It collapsed in an instant and turned into a rubble. Saw such a horrific battle scene. Everyone in the Cheng family fled to a safe place to hide. Because it is this aftermath, I am afraid that once it hits them, they are all unbearable. The ancestors of the Cheng family and the ancestors of the blood robes clashed for a while. The ancestor of the Cheng family snorted. The whole person was thrown out like a broken kite. Boom. The ancestor of the Cheng family smashed to the ground. The earth collapsed instantly. The ancestor of the Cheng family was directly smashed into the pit. Ancestor, Cheng Lu, Cheng Zan and others were all in a hurry. Run over quickly. Cough cough. The ancestor of the Cheng family struggled to climb up from the big pit. At this moment, the ancestor of the Cheng family looked extremely embarrassed. Blood was pouring out of his mouth. Shirt torn. I'm fine. The ancestor of the Cheng family waved his hand. Although the ancestor of the Cheng family said so. But everyone can see that the situation of the ancestors is not very optimistic. Ancestor lost. My Cheng family is finished. This is the first feeling of everyone in the Cheng family at this moment. Even the ancestors are not the opponents of this blood-robed ancestor. Then, there is no one in the entire Cheng family who is the opponent of the blood-robed ancestor. Ancestor. Cheng Zan came to her ancestor and supported her own ancestor. My good boy, the ancestors are sorry for you, I'm so stupid, really. If I move you to a safe place in advance, our Cheng family will not perish. I'm so stupid, really. The ancestor of the Cheng family felt uncomfortable. The ancestor of the Cheng family knew that he actually still had a lot of time to move Changzan and others to a safe place. But the ancestors of the Cheng family felt that he could break through to nascent soul realm. But he did not expect that after the arrival of the blood-robed ancestor, he still did not find the shackles. He is sorry for the Cheng family. Also, if he had been more ruthless at the beginning, he might have killed the blood-robed ancestor. But now, the ancestors of the Cheng family know that it is useless to say this. The ancestor of the Cheng family really regretted it at this moment. Especially looking at Changzan in front of him, the ancestor of the Cheng family really didn't want to let his good granddaughter die. Old ancestor, you are not wrong, the fault is that the enemy is too cunning. Cheng Lu shook his head and said. At this moment, the Cheng family was shrouded in a shadow of death. Ancestor of the blood robe, I lost, but can I ask you one thing? That is to let go of my good little granddaughter. She is innocent, she was born without spiritual roots, does not know cultivation, and will not be punished in the future. You caused any damage. The ancestor of the Cheng family suddenly looked at the ancestor of the blood robe, and couldn't help but plead. Cheng Jun, are you confused? Do you think I'll let her go? She won't care about cultivation. Next, I should let your Cheng family disappear from this world. Sen said. You, the ancestor of the Cheng family was anxious. But the ancestors of the Cheng family had no choice at all. That's how the world is. The strong are respected, and the losers are bandits. If he fails, it means that the whole family will be uprooted. Next, I will send you all to the underworld, Blood Demon Palm. The blood-robed ancestor shouted coldly. After the words of the blood-robed ancestor fell. The blood-robed ancestor was bombarding the Cheng family with a palm. Everyone in the Cheng family present felt the breath of death at this moment. One by one despair to the bone. But at this time, a figure stepped forward. The figure who walked out was naturally Cheng Zan. Cheng Zan couldn't watch her Cheng family be beheaded by a demon. Shuaner. After seeing Cheng Zan walking out, Cheng Lu and the others were stunned. But inside is desperate. Zan born without spiritual roots. How could it be the opponent of the blood-robed ancestor? After all, the ancestors are not the opponents of the blood-robed ancestors. Shuaner, come back quickly, are you crazy? The ancestor of the Cheng family couldn't help shouting. Although Cheng Zan could not cultivate, but because Cheng Zan was eccentric and active, the ancestors liked Cheng Zan very much. Just now, the ancestor of the Cheng family thought that he would blow himself up later, and after blowing himself up, he let Cheng Lu escape with Cheng Zan. Unexpectedly, Cheng Zan actually walked out to fight the blood-robed ancestor. Although Cheng Zan's filial piety is touching, but an ordinary cultivator who is unable to cultivate, wants to fight against the blood-robed ancestor of nascent soul realm, that is undoubtedly the cockroach to shake the tree, and is beyond his own power. It seems that the Cheng family really has no successor. It's really sad and ridiculous to let a waste who can't cultivate to stand up. After seeing Cheng Zan walking out in front of him, the blood-robed ancestor couldn't help sneering. In fact, what everyone doesn't know is that Cheng Zan is a sword body without a phase. This physique is formless and formless, 5 elements return to self. If you don't run the sword body, others will naturally not be able to perceive the sword chi on Cheng Zan's body. Is it funny? Cheng Zan's big eyes stared at the blood-robed ancestor in front of her, and said coldly. Isn't it funny? You are a waste, if I move my finger, you will turn into a blood mist and explode for me. The blood-robed ancestor sneered. With the words of the blood-robed ancestors fell. The blood-robed ancestor stretched out a finger, and a ray of light shot out. Then came towards Cheng Zan. In the face of this terrifying brilliance, Cheng Zan was unmoved at all, not even moving his brows. Laugh. This brilliance shot on Cheng Zan. The blood-robed ancestor originally thought that Cheng Zan would directly turn into a cloud of blood. But the next scene, not only the ancestors of the Cheng family and others were surprised, but even the ancestors of the blood robe frowned. Because the blood-robed ancestor didn't expect that this ray of light that he shot had no effect on the girl in front of him who didn't release the slightest breath. This is not reasonable. If he usually shoots himself, He is probably a cultivator below the realm 5th stage, and he can't handle it. Could it be that the own fingering is out of order? Or have you suddenly become less hard than before? It shouldn't. I'll shoot again. The blood-robed ancestor was a little unwilling. Continue to gather strength and gather all the strength in your fingers. Then he aimed at Cheng Zan, and Bu shot straight at him. Shuiner, be careful. The ancestor of the Cheng family could not help shouting when he saw this finger. Desperate inside. However, the next scene. Those who were still present were once again shocked, seeing that this beam of brilliance was about to hit Cheng Zan. Cheng Zan gently blocked the sword in front of him. Laugh. A crisp sound came out. Then the brilliance shot by the blood-robed ancestor was like a stone thrown on the sea level. Just a little ripple, then disappeared again. The blood-robed ancestor began to look serious at this moment. Something wrong. There is absolutely a problem. The girl in front of her is not normal. It's not that his shot is weak and powerless. But the girl in front of her might be a cultivator. Even that cultivation base, comparable to him. As for the ancestors of the Cheng family, Cheng Lu and others. They looked at each other in dismay. Countless question marks flickering inside. This doesn't seem reasonable. A finger from a nascent soul realm, that is the ancestor, I am afraid it will take divine power to take it. But Shuiner took it easily. The ancestors of the Cheng family and others couldn't figure it out. Because Shuiner was born without spiritual roots. Such people are destined to be unable to cultivate in this life. But now, the ancestor of the Cheng family was very confused. Anyway, there is no reasonable reason to explain this phenomenon. You turned out to be a cultivator. It seems that I underestimated you, and then I will let you taste my power. The blood-robed ancestor said solemnly at this moment. The killing intent on his body was extremely strong. With the words of the blood-robed ancestors fell. A blood-red sickle appeared on the body of the blood-robed ancestor. Blood soul chopping knife. The blood-robed ancestor shouted loudly. When the blood-robed ancestor burst out and shouted, the blood-red scythe in his hand was directly beheading Cheng Zan. Countless blood-red sword shadows flew. Unmatched killing intent. The mournful devil may cry bursts. Outrageous. Obviously, the blood-robed ancestor used this sickle to cut down how many ghosts he had harvested. The blood-robed ancestor was extremely confident at the moment. Because the blood-robed ancestor is very sure. The girl in front of her, cultivation base, is equivalent to her. Under this scythe, the fate is the same as those of the cultivators he killed. Ashes. Then the soul will be absorbed by the blood sickle. Even after cutting out this knife. The ancestors of the blood-robed are a little flirtatious. He immediately closed his hands and prepared to harvest the souls of the ancestors of the Cheng family and others. But the next moment, the blood-robed ancestor was stunned. Because when the sickle was about to reach Cheng Zan's side, Cheng Zan finally drew his sword. The moment Cheng Zan drew his sword, a heart-pounding bright sword light spread out. However, the blood-robed ancestor couldn't bear to think too much. Slayer sword technique. Cheng Xuanzhao shouted. The sword in his hand slashed out. No bells and whistles. Just like that, the sword was cut out. The incomparable golden sword ray shoots out like a scorching sun. Then meet the blood-colored sickle. Ding, crack. When the blood-colored scythe and the sword collided, the blood-colored sickle instantly dimmed. Ghosts collapse. Then, the blood-colored sickle shattered like a spider web. From the hilt to the blade, the blood-robed ancestor's face changed greatly. He hurriedly put aside the blood-colored sickle in his hand. Then the whole body prepares to retreat backwards. However, Cheng Zan's sword was too fast. After the blood-colored scythe collapsed, the power of this sword did not weaken in the slightest. Instead, it gave the blood-robed ancestor a feeling. That is, the power of this sword is getting stronger and stronger. The blood-robed ancestor felt a great threat to his life at this moment. The ancestor of the blood robe swallowed his saliva, clamped his legs, and continued to lift the anus. But it is a pity that the speed of the blood-robed ancestor is still a bit slower than that of the sword. PFF'd. With a bright sword ray spread out, a head gushing out with blood was thrown out. Grumble. In the end, the head of the blood-robed ancestor rolled onto the ground thousands of meters away from his body. Eyes wide open, dead restless, the blood-robed ancestor was stunned when he died. Live for hundreds of years. What kind of battles have never been seen before? 9 lives. But it came through every time. Even 100 years ago, he was seriously injured by Cheng Jun, the ancestor of the Cheng family. In the end they all survived. But this time, the blood-robed ancestor knew that he was done. His life is probably to be frozen under this sword. As predicted, the next moment, the blood-robed ancestor only felt a chill in his neck, and a piercing pain came. Then lost consciousness, looking at the blood-robed ancestor who rolled on the ground with his head in a different place. The entire Cheng family mansion was quiet. Needle drop is audible. One by one with wide-eyed eyes. There is a sense of serious doubt about life. The blood-robed ancestor who did many evils died. And the one who killed the blood-robed ancestor was an ordinary mortal born without spiritual roots. Oh my god, it's so unbelievable, isn't it? Many people in the Cheng family wondered if they had hallucinations. Then one by one, their eyes widened. Look at this scene in front of you. I'm hallucinating. The ancestor of the Cheng family couldn't help rubbing his eyes. But the ancestors of the Cheng family found that it seemed that this was not an illusion. The smell of blood wafting out of the air was pungent. Because the cultivation technique of cultivation by the ancestor of the blood robe is extremely evil, even the blood looks very disgusting. Ancestor, father, mother. After beheading the ancestor of the blood robe, Cheng Zan came to the ancestor and others. Shuiner, you. Cheng Zan's mother looked at her heroic daughter standing in front of her, feeling that everything was so unreal. Is this really his daughter who was born without spiritual roots? What's the problem? Your daughter was taken away. This is not reasonable. Isn't her daughter unable to cultivate? How could he beat the blood-robed ancestor who couldn't even beat his own ancestors with just one sword? Cheng Zan's mother only felt that everything was like a dream at this moment. Like a dream. So unreal. My good mother, my daughter really didn't lie to you. My daughter worshipped a peerless master who taught her cultivation. Cheng Zan explained that she didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Road. Even Cheng Zan can understand the mood of the mother and others in front of him at the moment. I was born without spiritual roots. Unable to cultivate. It seems that this ending is doomed. Now, under the guidance of Master, he has suddenly become so powerful. It's unbelievable for anyone. Shuiner, you really worshipped a master. Also, this sword in your hand. The ancestor of the Cheng family also reacted from the confusion at this moment. The light flickered in his eyes. At the moment of the shot just now, the ancestor of the Cheng family naturally saw the extraordinariness of the sword in Cheng Zan's hand. Ancestor, this is a gift from my master, a holy artifact-level sword. Cheng Zan answered truthfully. What, is this a holy artifact-level sword? Fizz. After hearing Cheng Zan's words, the ancestors of the Cheng family, Cheng Lu and others were shocked again. The holy artifact is already considered a very high level among treasures. In a sect, I am afraid there are no two. Generally, the sacred artifact is regarded as the treasure of the sect. Now, Cheng Zan's master just gave his apprentice a holy weapon-level sword. The ancestors of the Cheng family and others were stunned. Moreover, Cheng Lu and the others have determined at this moment that their daughter is really worshipping an expert from outside the world. This expert is probably still the kind of existence that sees the beginning of the dragon and does not see the end. My daughter is so lucky. Shuiner, where is your master now? The ancestor of the Cheng family said excitedly. Giving a gift to an apprentice casually is a holy weapon, and it also allows Cheng Zan to start cultivation. Such a cultivator is definitely an expert outside the world. Do not. At this moment, the ancestor of the Cheng family suspected that the other party might be an immortal emperor who came down to experience the mortal world. It is estimated that he inadvertently accepted an apprentice like Cheng Zan. Master is the Xiaoyao sect leader, he is now in the Xiaoyao sect. Cheng Zan said proudly. When it comes to her master, Cheng Zan's face is full of awe. After this incident, Cheng Zan has already admired Lu Chengge to the ground. No wonder when he went down the mountain, the master said that he should not worry. He also gave himself a holy sword. It turns out that everything is under the master's control. Master, I am afraid this world cannot escape your palm. It's just that after hearing Cheng Zan's words, the ancestors of the Cheng family couldn't help frowning. Xiaoyaozong sect leader. Not right. Xiaoyao sect has now been expelled from the Sacred Land Union. For the Xiaoyao sect, the ancestors of the Cheng family are most familiar with it. If it was 10,000 years ago, the Xiaoyao sect was indeed very famous. Even the strength can be tied with the major sacred lands. But then Xiaoyao Zong has declined. So that a few years ago, Xiaoyao Zong completely disappeared. Ancestor, what's wrong? Chang Zan asked a little puzzled as he watched his ancestor fall into contemplation. Xuaner, are you sure you didn't lie to the ancestor? Your master is really the sect leader of the Xiaoyao sect. The ancestor of the Cheng family further confirmed. It's not that the ancestors of the Cheng family don't believe it, but that this matter is too unbelievable. In the past, if the ancestor of the Cheng family was killed, he would not believe in a declining sect leader of the Xiaoyao sect, and he would be able to teach Zan cultivation. But now Cheng Zan's strength has proved everything. Ancestor, Xuaner won't lie to you. Xuaner has grown up so big, and she has never lied to her ancestor. Chang Zan couldn't help but nodded. Xuaner, I will go to Xiaoyao sect with you next, and the ancestor would like to thank your senior in person. The ancestor of the Cheng family couldn't help but said. Yes, ancestor. Chang Zan nodded. Then the two of them came towards Xiaoyao sect. After arriving at the place where Xiaoyao Zong is about to be, Chang Zan stopped with the ancestors of the Cheng family. Xuaner, what's the matter? The ancestor of the Cheng family asked with some doubts. Ancestor, master is a master from outside the world. When you see him later, patriarch must pay attention when you speak. Chang Zan said. You stupid girl, don't worry. The ancestor of the Cheng family couldn't help touching Chang Zan's head. Chang Zan nodded. The two continued to walk towards Xiaoyao sect. After entering the Xiaoyao sect, the ancestor of the Cheng family was a little puzzled. This broken appearance is indeed the former Xiaoyao sect. I didn't expect such an extraordinary person to live here. It's really surprising. When the ancestors of the Cheng family and Cheng Zan were about to arrive at the courtyard where Lu Changge was. At the moment, Lu Changge is playing with a kitten. Bai Ziqi said that she was very hurt. The owner is really too much. She is a dignified 9-haired civet princess, even if she is treated as a kitten. What made Bai Ziqi even more unacceptable was that her master had to turn her over to see her own male and female. The owner is too much. Just when Lu Changge was having fun with his cats, two figures appeared in the courtyard. One of them. Lu Changge is naturally the most familiar, but it is his own disciple, Chang Zan. As for the other person, it was an old man. He looked energetic, and his eyes were bright. Lu Changge thought with his butt and knew that this old man should be a powerful cultivator. While Lu Changge was looking at the old man in front of him, the ancestor of the Cheng family was also looking at Lu Changge in front of him. When he saw Lu Changge for the first time, the ancestors of the Cheng family were stunned. Because of the Lu Changge in front of him, in the eyes of the ancestors of the Cheng family, he was simply a diva. The ancestor of the Cheng family felt that he had lived for so many years. But I have never seen a man so handsome. Dressed in white as snow. The face is like a knife and an axe, and the whole person is like walking out of the painting. What shocked the ancestors of the Cheng family even more was that Lu Changge in front of him couldn't see the depth at all. Because the aura of cultivation base on Lu Changge didn't come out. What does that mean? This means that the other party's cultivation base may have reached the point of being unpredictable. If it is an ordinary cultivator, even if the other party's cultivation base has returned to its original state, it can still be felt. But in front of Lu Changge, there was no cultivation base at all. This means that the other party's cultivation base is truly unfathomable. The disciple has seen the master. Chang Zan jumped and saluted in front of Lu Changge. Teacher, you're back, it's good to be back, it's good to be back. Lu Changge said happily. There are not many people in this Xiaoyao sect at present. Since Chang Zan went down the mountain, Lu Changge felt that the place was much cleaner. Now that Chang Zan is back, Lu Changge is naturally very happy. Ancestor, this is my master, master, this is my ancestor of the Cheng family. Chang Zan introduced Lu Changge and the ancestor of the Cheng family to each other. Junior Cheng Jun has met senior. The ancestor of the Cheng family saluted respectfully. Lu Changge said that he was very confused. I can't afford to be this senior myself. Why are people in this world of immortals being so polite? You're welcome, and I'm not a senior, my full name is Liu Changge, just call me Changge. Liu Changge said lightly. Senior is welcome, Junior is here to thank Senior. Cheng Jun said respectfully. This can't blame Cheng Jun. It's really that Liu Changge, which Cheng Jun's brain made up, is too powerful. Because even Cheng Zan, an ordinary mortal born without spiritual roots, can become a strong swordsman under the training of Liu Changge. So Cheng Jun didn't dare to be arrogant at the moment. Even breathing is kept as low as possible. For fear that they would accidentally provoke the jealous man in front of the tall man, the women could not wait to offer their first peerless beauty on the spot. As everyone knows, Liu Changge did not contribute much to the cultivation of Zan Zan. It was just a slash at the root of the tree with a sword. All the credit goes to Cheng Zan. Thank you, Cheng Lao, don't be polite. Liu Changge Zhong was puzzled. If you want to say thank you, it stands to reason that he should be thanking the Cheng family. It was the Cheng family who developed such a brain tonic. Only then did he have the opportunity to enter cultivation. It can be said that without Cheng Zan, he is still an ordinary mortal. But Liu Changge thought of another possibility. That's because he recruited Cheng Zan as his apprentice. It counts like this. Everything can be explained. Liu Senior, Junior came this time, firstly to thank Senior, and secondly because Junior wanted to have an unkind request. Said the ancestor of the Cheng family. When it came to the unkind invitation, the ancestors of the Cheng family were a little embarrassed. But the ancestors of the Cheng family knew. Liu Senior can instruct Cheng Zan, who was born without spiritual roots, to become a strong swordsman. With just a little pointing at him, he can pierce the membrane of breakthrough nascent soul realm. And then became the powerhouse of nascent soul realm. Although he is currently at the peak of 9th stage, such a cultivation base is very good in the secular world. But first stage realm first stage days. If he can break through nascent soul, then whether it is cultivation base or life expectancy, there will be earth-shaking changes. If you have any requests, feel free to say, as long as I can help, I will definitely help. Liu Changge said. At this moment, Liu Changge's thoughts are like this: the fantasy world is cruel. If you can have one more friend, it is naturally better than one more enemy. The key point is that the ancestor of the Cheng family looks like a master. Of course, Liu Changge is also praying in his heart. I hope you don't ask cultivation questions. For some cultivation problems. Liu Changge said he didn't know much either. The only way for him to become stronger now is to let his disciple cultivation become stronger, and he will also become stronger. Senior, I just want to ask, how can I break through to nascent soul realm? To be honest, I spent a lot of energy in order to break through nascent soul realm, but more than 100 years later, I still can't find that point, always I can't break through. The ancestor of the Cheng family said with a look of sadness. The ancestors of the Cheng family knew. If he breaks through to nascent soul realm, he can live another 500 years. But if he can't break through to nascent soul realm, his lifespan will be at most 100 years. So the reflection period cultivation base and nascent soul realm's cultivation base are simply the difference between heaven and earth. Liu Senior is an expert outside the world. You can definitely find the problem that he can't break through nascent soul realm. It will point him. Liu Changge. Liu Changge said he was hurt. Worry more. What is coming? You ask some life questions, such as how to cook the best barbecue, or you ask him how many poses he can, and he can now name 108. But you asked about cultivation. This touched the blind spot of his Liu Changge. Although Liu Changge is now cultivation base is not bad. But that's all the system says. He never tried to break through nascent soul realm at all. But looking at the eager expression on the face of the ancestor of the Cheng family, Liu Changge really didn't want to hit the old man. The key is that his disciple is still here. If he said he didn't know, then he probably wouldn't be able to fool Cheng Zan in the future. So Liu Changge opened his mouth and said to Cheng Zan, "Big disciple, you go out first, I'll talk to your ancestor." "Yes, master." Cheng Zan nodded obediently, then retreated down. At this moment, only Liu Changge and the ancestors of the Cheng family are left. The ancestor of the Cheng family had a look of longing. And Liu Changge is a face of life without love. Liu Changge is racking his brains. What to say next? After thinking for a while, a light flashed in Liu Changge's mind. Then he asked, "Ancestor Cheng, tell me what you thought the night you got married when you were young. Ancestor Cheng, tell me, what did you think the night you got married? After hearing about Lu Chengyi's question, old Ancestor Cheng's face, he couldn't help showing a look of happiness and shyness. Time, it seems to be pulled back to 400 years ago in an instant. He was in love with her. They date, but they follow the rules. He respects her. She admired him. Everything is so beautiful. But what did you think the night you got married? He was a little embarrassed to say. To be frank, it was a bit fast that night. But she didn't blame him. Whether it is a man or a daughter, when it is the first time, it is often uneasy and nervous. If old Ancestor Cheng is embarrassed to say it, then don't say it. Lu Chengge saw the embarrassed look on old Ancestor Cheng's face and couldn't help speaking. In fact, Lu Chengge didn't know how to say it at all. But Lu Chengge knew that the ancestor of the Cheng family was at the helm of the Cheng family. So there are more things to think about. The pressure is relatively high. That's why Lu Chengge asked this question. There's nothing to say. In fact, I was very nervous that night, and I thought about it a lot. I really wanted to have a wedding with her, but I thought, what if I couldn't do it? Because I liked to use cups before I got married, I think Lu Senior should you understand what I say. The ancestor of the Cheng family said a little embarrassedly. As a man, I understand, so do you now understand why you can't break through nascent soul realm? Lu Chengge asked back. The ancestor of the Cheng family. The ancestor of the Cheng family expressed his confusion at the moment. What does your mood and thoughts on the night of your wedding have to do with your inability to break through nascent soul realm? Marriage and breakthrough are two different things. Is there anything deeper in this? The ancestors of the Cheng family began to think about it. Soon, the ancestor of the Cheng family could not help but let out a cry of exclamation. Senior, I understand. You mean that the reason why I couldn't break through to nascent soul realm is because I've been thinking too much all these years, which has caused myself to be distracted. On the night of the wedding, I was too nervous and my brain was too distracted. There are a lot of messy thoughts, so it's very fast. Senior wants to tell me that if you want to break through nascent soul, you need to unite your heart and mind, learn to let go, and give up. I have realized it. Thank you, Senior. I have found the shackles of breakthrough now. Cheng Jia Laozu could not help but have an epiphany. Lu Chengge listened to the words of the ancestor of the Cheng family. Lu Chengge said he was confused. He just said it casually. The other party thought so much. And have an epiphany. I opened my mouth, but since the other party realized it, that Lu Chengge is also very gratified. Senior, I already have signs of breaking through. I'll go back to my family's closed-door training breakthrough. Shuaner will be entrusted to Senior. What does the Senior want to do to her? It's okay, men, we all know. The ancestor of the Cheng family said to Lu Chengge. Let's go after dinner. Lu Chengge couldn't help but insist. No, Senior can give me an epiphany, which is already the greatest gift to me. Senior, Junior will leave now, said the ancestor of the Cheng family. After the ancestors of the Cheng family finished speaking, just walked out of the courtyard. Cheng Zan was waiting outside. After seeing his ancestor walking out of the courtyard with a red face, Cheng Zan greeted him. Ancestor, Shuaner, just now Lu Senior has found the symptoms that I can't break through nascent soul realm. The ancestor has now had a little insight. When I go back, I should be able to break through to nascent soul realm. Shuaner, you can follow Senior cultivation. It is the blessing you have cultivated in your dozens of lifetimes. No matter what, you must listen to the Senior's words, cultivate well, and not be able to live up to the Senior's expectations for you. If Senior has any excessive demands on you, you should obey him. As long as you can accompany him, your future achievements will be limitless. The ancestor of the Cheng family couldn't help but instructed. After he finished speaking, he went down the mountain in a hurry. Looking at the back of her ancestor, Cheng Zan couldn't help pinching her pink fist, and swore in her heart, don't worry, my ancestor, I will definitely not disappoint Master's expectations. After Cheng Zan finished speaking, she began to come to the courtyard to cultivate. And at this moment, she Rishan. There is also no cultivation in these days. Incredibly hardworking, Lu Chengge watched the two apprentices begin to enter into intense cultivation. Lu Chengge expressed his relief. There are two apprentices who are so fortunate. It is a matter of time before you become the strongest in this world. Just when Lu Changge thought so. Now, under the hillside where Xiaoyao sect is located, a young man is walking towards the mountain of Xiaoyao sect. When the young man saw the place where the Xiaoyao sect was, a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. I've finally arrived at the Xiaoyao sect. No matter what, I must succeed in my apprenticeship this time. I, Li Changqing, don't believe in destiny, I want to change my own destiny. Li Changqing squeezed his fist and said. The next moment, Li Changqing entered the Xiaoyao sect. Soon, Li Changqing came to the courtyard where Lu Changge was. After seeing Lu Changge lying leisurely on the lounge chair, Li Changqing spoke directly. Senior, I, Li Changqing, came to apprentice. Apprenticeship. Lu Changge turned over from the rattan chair. Then he looked at Li Changqing in front of him. Li Changqing looks very tall. Very sturdy. It looks so naive. His face was a healthy black. Obviously, this Li Changqing should be from a farm family. Otherwise, the skin will not have such a color. System, check his physique. Lu Changge asked the system. Mortal body. The system said to Lu Changge. Mortal. Lu Changge couldn't help frowning. The reason why I taught Shi Rishan and Chang Zan cultivation. One is because there is no phase sword body, the best physique in kendo. One is the son of heaven with great luck. And this guy in front of him is mortal. This means that there is not a single bit of character to speak of. Such an apprentice is not suitable for him to teach. Brother, you are afraid that you have found the wrong person. You should find a sect suitable for your cultivation. Lu Changge said. Senior, you can take me in, I've already found a lot of sects. They say I'm a mortal person, not suitable for cultivation, they don't want me, but I don't believe in fate, so I came here. Senior, you must take me down. PFF. Li Changqing knelt down in front of Lu Changge with a thud. A look of devotion and anticipation. Lu Changge looked at Li Changqing and expressed helplessness. The boy has gold under his knees. The other party knelt down to himself. Also mustered up the courage. However, this apprentice made Lu Changge very embarrassed. It's not that I don't want to receive it. But he is simply a half-ass. I don't know what to teach each other. Senior, you must accept me, I am willing to be a bull and a horse for senior. Li Changqing pleaded with Lu Changge's hesitant look. There were tears in his voice. Forget it, since you are so sincere, I will test you first. If you pass my test, I will accept you as my apprentice. If you don't pass, then there is nothing I can do. Lu Changge said after thinking about it. In Lu Changge's cognition, if you want to be your own apprentice, you have nothing to do with mortal bodies. The key is to be mindful. Just like the apprentices Chang Zan and Shi Rishan that he had accepted earlier. Just cut it down at the root of the tree with your sword. Then Chang Zan can make up the peerless sword technique. Just carve a knife mark on the ground, and Shi Rishan can make up the peerless saber technique. This kind of apprentice is cool to teach. Senior, please do the assessment. After hearing Lu Changge's words, Li Changqing couldn't help clenching his fists. I think I still have hope. His parents had told him. One must be honest. An honest child must have milk. Therefore, Li Changqing's attitude is very pious at this moment. And Li Changqing also thought about it. Wait a minute, what does the senior ask? He must answer honestly. Only in this way will they win the favor of the seniors. Let's go outside the mountain gate. Lu Changge said. After Lu Changge finished speaking, it was holding Xiaobai and came to the outside of the mountain gate with Li Changqing. Li Changqing was very respectful at this moment. Waiting for Lu Changge's assessment. Lu Changge looked calm. Looking at the sky, he asked Li Changqing, Changqing, are you ready? Is this session going to be a question? Senior, I'm ready, Li Changqing replied. When he looked at Lu Xiaoyao, who was dressed in white as snow, he was filled with awe. Because Li Changqing has never seen such a fairy. Senior is really elegant, unparalleled beauty man. And Li Changqing's eyes were full of envy. Changqing, what do you see on the other side of the mountain? Lu Changge asked. Ah, is the question senior asked so simple? Li Changqing was stunned after hearing Lu Changge's question. What's over the mountain? I am very clear, because he just came from there. Senior, there is a small village on the other side of the mountain, and there is a small creek. Above the creek is a sheep intestine path. There are wheat and rapeseed flowers. The rapeseed flowers are very beautiful. The beautiful girl is running in the rapeseed. Li Changqing replied. When Li Changqing said this, his heart was crooked. Because this question is too good to answer. What did you look up to see? Lu Changge continued to ask. Senior, I saw blue sky and white clouds, and a little bird. He just pooped. After Li Changqing raised his head, he told Lu Changge what he had seen. Every detail is perfectly answered. Look at the foot of this seat again, what do you see? Lu Changge continued to ask aloud. There is grass under the senior's feet, and there are a few small ants beside the grass. They are carrying food to their own cave. Li Changqing answered honestly. After Li Changqing finished speaking, he felt very comfortable. Li Changqing also thought that senior, as a peerless expert, would ask complicated questions. The result is this, that's it. Simply so eerie. Perfect. Woohoo. Li Changqing was so happy that he was about to sing. However, after hearing Li Changqing's answer, Lu Changge was a little disappointed. Yes, this Li Changqing's answer is very perfect. Not even the slightest mistake. It can be seen from the answer that this Li Changqing is a simple and honest good boy. But he doesn't need such an apprentice here. If he can't make up his mind, Li Changqing can't learn anything here. The answer Lu Changge wanted was, what's on the other side of the mountain? On the other side of the mountain, in addition to the mountain, there is also poetry and distance. If Li Changqing answered like this, Lu Changge would immediately accept the apprentice. Unfortunately, Changqing, you answered very well, but I'm sorry, you didn't pass my test. Lu Changge shook his head. Lu Changge said this. Li Changqing is stunned. Is his answer wrong? But Li Changqing felt that his own answer was perfect. He answered everything he could see. Senior, why? Is it because I am a mortal person? Li Changqing showed a look of unwillingness. It was painful inside. Changqing, in this world, don't think that what you think is right is right. There are many things that not only you think are right, but also need others to think they are right. You go down the mountain, how good it is to go down the mountain and be immortal. Lu Changge shook his head. After Lu Changge finished speaking, he walked towards the courtyard where he was. Some words are too much to say. Anyway, Lu Changge has already said what he should say. Senior, you can take me in. I just clean up for the senior, and I can also take care of the senior's clothing, food, and daily living. Senior, don't leave. If you don't take me, I won't be able to get up on my knees here. PFF'd. Li Changqing said and knelt directly outside Xiaoyaozong Mountain Gate. Lu Changge shook his head. Clap for a moment. Just close the gate. It's not that Lu Changge is ruthless and doesn't accept each other, but that such an honest child can't learn anything from him at all. Lu Changge is also very embarrassed. Lu Changge felt that the other party should kneel and leave here. Just like that, time passed slowly. Soon, 3 days passed like this. On the morning of the 4th day, Lu Changge said to Cheng Zan, Big disciple, did you see that the guy kneeling outside the door is gone? Good master. Cheng Zan nodded. Then he looked outside the mountain gate. It was when he saw that Li Changqing was still kneeling outside the mountain gate. At this moment, Li Changqing, because he knelt for 3 days and 3 nights in succession, did not drop any water. So it looks very embarrassing. Lips are split. His face, which was dark at first, is now a little pale. Master, he is still kneeling outside. Cheng Zan said to Lu Changge. Ah, still kneeling. What a persistent guy. Lu Changge didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Lu Changge has already said it very clearly. The other party is not suitable to be his apprentice. He didn't expect that the other party was still so persistent. What a lunatic. Master, do we want to take care of him? Shall we drive him away? Shi Rishan couldn't help asking for instructions. Don't worry about him. In fact, it's not easy for him. I hope he can retreat in spite of difficulties. Lu Changge shook his head and said. In his heart, Lu Changge still sympathizes with Li Changqing. After all, the other party was just like him, mortal. But the same life, different fate. Lu Changge has golden thighs. Li Changqing did not. On the night of the 5th day, the sky was full of wind and clouds. Then it started to rain. The rain this night was heavier than before. Rain kept falling down the whole night. After waking up the next morning, Lu Changge couldn't help but thought to himself, It rained so hard last night that Li Changqing should leave now. Thinking like this, Lu Changge opened the mountain gate. Then the next moment, Lu Changge couldn't help being stunned. At this moment, Li Changqing was still kneeling there. Due to the heavy rain last night, Li Changqing has become a lost chicken. And because I haven't eaten in the last few days. At this moment, Li Changqing was dying. Lu Changge's mouth twitched. Lu Changge originally thought that the heavy rain last night, this Li Changqing would leave here. But I didn't expect that this guy was still kneeling. Really a persistent guy. Senior. Seeing Lu Changge coming out, Li Changqing resisted the urge to faint, and couldn't help shouting. Children, Lu Changge said helplessly. Senior, take me as an apprentice. Li Changqing said with a stubborn look on his face. That's all, I'll accept you as a disciple. Lu Changge said. Lu Changge is also completely helpless. Lu Changge has already decided in his heart. If this kid can't learn anything in Xiaoyao sect, then he can be a sweeper in Xiaoyao sect. If this guy is allowed to kneel here for a few more days and nights, it is estimated that he will die. This is not what Lu Changge wants to see. Thanks. Before Li Changqing finished speaking, he fainted. Rishan, come out and help. Lu Changge shouted. Yes, master. Hearing Lu Changge's words, Rishan hurried out. Carry him in, he is too weak and fainted. Lu Changge said. Good master. Rishan nodded. Then he and Lu Changge carried Li Changqing in. After carrying it in and placing it on the flat ground, Lu Changge got some nutrient solution and asked Rishan to feed Li Changqing some. Li Changqing's body is not seriously ill. The main reason is that my body is too weak because I have been kneeling outside these days. Just fainted. After half a day, Li Changqing woke up. After waking up, Li Changqing was struggling to get up from the bed. Changqing, don't move, your knees have been kneeling for too long, so you need to rest for a while. Seeing Li Changqing awake, Lu Changge said involuntarily. Then Rishan rubbed Li Changqing's knees. After a while, Li Changqing's knee had completely recovered. Li Changqing got up from the bed. Then he went directly to Lu Changge and said, Thank you senior for taking me in. Do you still call me senior? Lu Changge put his hands behind his back, giving him an indescribable elegance. That look, as if at any time to become a feather and go to immortal. Chang Zan, who was on the side, was almost drooling when he saw it. My master is really too handsome and elegant. She can't take it anymore. But you are my senior, so what if I don't call you senior? Hearing Lu Changge's words, Li Changqing couldn't help touching his head, and he really couldn't find any other words in his mind. Junior brother Changqing, master has already accepted you as an apprentice, do you still want to call him senior? Call him master. Chang Zan on the side couldn't help reminding. Chang Zan was also a little helpless. Now they can understand why the master did not accept Li Changqing as an apprentice in the first place. This Li Changqing's brain circuit seems to be a little slow to respond. Master. Disciple pays respects to master. Li Changqing finally reacted and couldn't help kneeling in front of Lu Changge. Child, get up, Lu Changge said lightly. The reason why Lu Changge is unwilling to accept Li Changqing is not that Li Changqing is not good enough. Li Changqing's simple character is really good. There's nothing to say about people. Lu Changge is worried that this guy really won't learn anything from him. But Lu Changge has another idea. That is, there are no bad apprentices, only incompetent masters. As for Li Changqing, Lu Changge is going to train slowly. Let Li Changqing get used to brain tonic slowly. It is obviously impossible for such an honest child to learn brain supplements all at once. Thank you, master. Li Changqing stood up from the ground. Stand beside Lu Changge. He looked helpless. You two, go cultivate, I will teach Changqing to cultivate next. Lu Changge confronted Chang Zan and Shiri Heavenly Dao. Yes, master. Chang Zan and Rishan both nodded. Then go to cultivation. After Chang Zan and Rishan left, Lu Changge looked at Li Changqing. Being watched by his master, Li Changqing became even more helpless. She looks more shy than girls. Changqing, why are you so shy? The teacher won't treat you like that. You tell the teacher, what kind of cultivation technique do you want to cultivate? Lu Changge asked. Of course, Lu Changge hopes that Li Changqing will cultivate saber technique and sword technique. Because of saber technique and sword technique, Lu Changge still knows a little bit. As for other aspects, Lu Changge said that he did not understand at all. Master, my aptitude is relatively stupid, so I want to learn formation. Li Changqing said one by one. Formation. I heard Li Changge say this. Lu Changge's mouth twitched violently. These stinky apprentices. One is too disrespectful. Isn't it good for you to learn saber technique? Isn't it good for you to learn sword technique? Why do you always choose to learn what a teacher can't do? Isn't this the life of a teacher? Former formation is good, your personality is relatively simple, and you are especially suitable for learning formation. Of course, Lu Changge also murmured in his heart, and on the surface he would not refuse to teach disciples to learn formation. If he messes around with it later, Li Changqing can't learn anything. It can only be said that Li Changqing's qualifications are dull. It's not that his teacher is not good at teaching. Changqing, come with me. Lu Changge said involuntarily. Soon, Lu Changge brought Li Changqing to an open space. Don't look at the Xiaoyao sect now in dilapidated condition. But there are still plenty of vacancies. Changqing, before I teach you peerless formation, I will ask you a question. Lu Changge said. Li Changqing nodded. Changqing, in your mind, what do you think of the peerless formation? Lu Changge asked. Lu Changge at the moment. A white suit without wind and automatically. The scent is unparalleled. It is Li Changqing, who is fascinated by his master's graceful elegance. But the question asked by master is really too difficult. He has never been exposed to formation. Naturally, he wouldn't even know what a peerless formation was like. But Li Changqing knew that the true peerless formation was very powerful anyway. Master, the disciple is stupid and can't answer. Li Changqing said truthfully. Tuer, you are fine in everything, but you are too simple and excessive. From today onwards, you have to think more about the problems you encounter. For example, I asked you what was on the other side of the mountain that day. Let you answer that the other side of the mountain is the countryside. You should have thought at the time that there are many mountains beyond the mountains, not just the few villages you see. Many things require specific analysis of specific issues. You have to look at the essence through the phenomenon. Changqing, do you understand? Lu Changge said earnestly. Here, only by thinking more, can we learn more things. A disciple who can't make up his mind is not a good disciple. Thank you for your teacher's teaching, my disciple understands. Li Changqing bowed. Then tell me, what do you understand? Lu Changge asked. Master wants to tell my disciples that if I want to go higher and farther in the formation, then I have to learn to think more. Li Changqing replied. Ruzi can be taught. Disciple, remember, the true peerless formation is to pay attention to natural formation. In a single thought, the heaven and the earth are the formation tools, the sun and the moon are the formation materials, and all things are the formation diagram. When will you be able to do it? If this is the case, then you will be a peerless formation teacher in the future. As long as you cultivate hard, I will believe in you as a teacher. Lu Changge said nonsense. As for formation, Lu Changge doesn't know much about it anyway. Can only fool. If Li Changqing can't comprehend, then you should attribute all the problems to Li Changqing. Heaven and earth are the weapons. The sun and the moon are the materials. Everything is a pattern. Hissing, how powerful is that? Li Changqing at this moment was completely stunned by Lu Changge's deceitful words. Li Changqing can't imagine such a formation teacher. Changqing, the current you is too far away from that, but as long as you follow me as a teacher, you will definitely achieve this achievement in the future. Changqing, then I will teach you the peerless formation, you can be optimistic. Lu Changge said solemnly. When he was fooling Li Changqing just now, Lu Changge had already thought of how to fool Li Changqing. I heard that my master was going to teach my peerless formation. Li Changqing's eyes widened. Dare not to have the slightest carelessness. The whole body is concentrated. Clamping the legs, tightening the abdomen and levator, the energy were completely concentrated on one point. Under Li Changqing's unblinking gaze. At this moment, I saw Lu Changge bent over, and then picked up a wooden stick beside him. Start drawing on the ground. A circle, 2 circles, 3 circles, 4 circles, 5 circles. After drawing 5 circles, Lu Changge stood up. Teacher, the master has engraved the peerless formation into the 5 Olympic rings, you should comprehend it. Lu Chang'e said. After Lu Chang'e finished speaking, he clapped his hands. Throw away the stick in your hand and walk away. Only Li Changqing was left messy in the wind. What's the situation? Is this the peerless formation that Master taught him? But Master, I didn't understand anything. What do the 5 circles mean? I don't understand. Ah, Master, don't go. I still have a lot of questions to ask. Li Changqing only felt desperate. No, Li Changqing, you have to do your best. You finally joined the Master's door. If you can't learn anything, then you will definitely disappoint the Master. Your qualifications are very poor, and the Master almost didn't accept you. After messing around for a while, Li Changqing shook his head stubbornly. Then he began to look at the 5 circles in front of him. But what makes Li Changqing despair is how he sees it. Just can't see anything. Ah, Li Changqing was really about to cry. He really can't comprehend anything. How can this be done? Soon, one day passed like this. But Li Changqing still didn't see anything. At dinner time, the atmosphere seemed a little subtle. Li Changqing is holding a rice bowl. Can't eat at all. Tears are about to stay. Changqing, what's wrong? Lu Chang'e asked involuntarily when he saw Li Changqing's tearful eyes. Wow, hear Lu Chang'e ask. Li Changqing cried out loudly. Because Li Changqing felt that he was sorry for the Master. He stood in the wind today and observed 5 circles for a long time. But still can't see anything. Master, I'm sorry for you, I lived up to your expectations, I didn't understand anything today. Li Changqing cried. Don't cry, Changqing, as a big man, you only cry for this little thing. Are you still not a man? Lu Chang'e said seriously. Master, I was wrong. Li Changqing quickly stopped crying. Changqing, you have to remember that every man, there is a time in his life, in a silent night, facing a dark and deep cave, he will despair and become depressed. Don't look at how powerful the Master is now, but it was there in the past. Countless despair. Faced with the dark cave, all you have to do is to take out all your savings, break through the many obstacles, and save the suffering ant. Ahem, it is the breakthrough of many obstacles, and you will see Lu and Waming another village. Men, if you don't experience setbacks, how do you know how much potential you have? If you don't experience setbacks, how do you know how long you can persevere? How can you see the rainbow without going through wind and rain? Do you understand the teacher's words? Lu Chang'e said earnestly. The pattern taught. I understand. After hearing Lu Chang'e's encouragement, Li Changqing nodded heavily. Wait a while when your senior sister and second senior brother are cultivating and see how they comprehended the peerless sword technique and saber technique. I think their success will give you inspiration. Lu Chang'e said. Yes, Master. Li Changqing nodded. Then after eating a bowl of rice, it was walking towards the place where Chang Zan cultivated. Soon, Li Changqing came to the place where Chang Zan cultivated. Changqing has seen senior sister. Li Changqing saluted. Li Changqing's eyes were full of envy. Because at the moment when Chang Zan was cultivating, her whole body was wrapped in the incomparable golden sword ray. It looks very extraordinary. Junior brother Changqing, how can I help you? Chang Zan also nodded and said, and then restrained the sword chi around her. Senior sister, how did you comprehend the peerless sword technique? Li Changqing asked. Junior brother Changqing, the Master is a peerless master. His teaching method is different from that of ordinary masters, because our Master is too powerful. If he teaches us like other masters, I am afraid that we will not be able to learn anything. At the beginning, the Master cut the root of the tree with a sword. But do you know how many sword techniques the sword of Master contains? It contains tens of thousands of sword techniques. When you face Master's sword technique, the main thing is to think more. Junior brother, do you understand? Chang Zan said involuntarily. It turns out that, I understand, thank you senior sister for your teaching. Li Changqing said gratefully. Li Changqing finally knew at this moment that Master is really too powerful. Perhaps those 5 circles contain countless formations. Just being too stupid, so I can't understand it for a while. Next, Li Changqing continued to visit Shi Rishan. The result is still the same. Senior brother Rishan realized the peerless saber technique from the knife marks drawn by the Master. I have to work hard, I can't give Master losing face. After Li Changqing returned to the Olympic rings drawn by his Master, Li Changqing clenched his fists. There was a look of determination on his face. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.